And we end Everything Wrong with Mario Marathon with Everything Wrong with Super Mario Bros. 3! What many consider to be the best Mario game. I may feel it's a little overrated, but it's still a good game. I wouldn't call it a bad game at all. Just like,
I didn't know how to fix it.
People are like the second coming of Christ sometimes. It's like, there are other games that are good.
No music,
Other
no
Mario
sound
games that
effects,
are better, arguably.
I'd
say Galaxy's better, but that's
World
me.
1-4,
Talking
the
2D,
very
it's still
first
good.
auto-scrolling level in the whole series. So, what exactly is forcing us to move?
The game.
Not running away from something. The
Yeah,
level
this
isn't
one of those
coming
things where it's
towards
like,
us
look
or
at this thing
anything.
was like
Why
something
can't
for
we
being
traverse
chased.
this level
Fair.
normally?
They
Okay,
do this movie
functionally,
slow because
what
the
is
game
the
said
point
so.
of rooms like this? Like, yeah, to crush any intruders, but do you just never come into this room?
I guess.
Do you have a button to stop the ceiling from lowering?
Most likely,
If so,
probably at the
why
beginning of
have
one of the
ceiling
doors.
rise and
Most
lower?
likely your door.
If you just kept it at the floor, I'd
It's
be
like,
screwed.
you flick a light switch. Ah, crap, that was the ceiling thing. Dang it.
Isn't it kind of pointless? I mean, 95% of the time, the only thing we can do is retry the airship level. We can't revisit stages once they're cleared, and the only other thing that could get in our way are the roaming enemies, if there are any left. What?
Hooray!
Did Mario drop the magic wand on his way down?
I guess so.
That
It
didn't
fell.
shatter upon hitting the ground.
Yeah, we are lucky.
If you see any ghosts, be careful. They will give chase if you turn away. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Princess Toadstool.
That looks like a paratrooper wing, not a jewel.
Oops.
And I mean, it doesn't really protect me.
Yeah, the
It
ghosts
turns
still
me into a
come.
flying furry.
Like,
also,
what?
how are you managing to send letters with items inside them? Who's delivering these letters? I know Bowser's like,
Okay, Princess, I'll let you help Mario defeat me by giving him tips and power-ups. Just don't forget to pay your postage.
Whoa,
Yeah, but
wait,
you're paying
so
for the letter.
That's not the sun, is it? What
No,
did I do to
because
piss
it would
you
be-
off all of a sudden. You were just chilling in the corner for a bit until
It's
I
an
ran
evil
past the
sun.
little whirlwind,
Just
and
the-
that was too much for
This
you
is
for
what
some
the
reason?
son from Teletubbies grew up to
You can
be.
stomp on your enemies using Goomba's shoe.
Vote,
I've
you
enclosed a
can't
jewel that helps
hit the
protect
sun.
you.
Well, you can hit the
Princess
sun, but he's
Toadstool.
gonna win.
Again, that is not a jewel. That is a Lakitu cloud that allows me to skip levels.
Yay!
Do you mean to say that it protects me from having to
Well,
play a
jewels,
level?
power
also,
up,
this
whatever,
is really not a good
shorthands.
time to tell the player about Goomba Shoe. I'm only just entering World 3,
Or
and
Karibo's
Goomba
shoe
Shoe
in
isn't
the
introduced until
Japanese.
World 5, and even then, it's only used in a single level. By then,
Why'd you
I'll
bother?
have completely forgotten that you said this.
Here's a neat item, though. What the?
Whoa, what happened
Yeah,
there?
I saw that
World
too.
3 was Waterland, not Invisible,
Invisible
Land.
land.
I don't think they expected me to be able to do this.
No, but it's a good way to
The
grind
white
lives.
block contains magic powers that will enable you to defeat your enemies. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect
It's
you.
music notes.
Princess Toadstool.
Okay, I had to look up what the hell she was talking about
White
because
block.
I never
You have
came
a lot of
across
lives.
the
That was a
supposed
grinding
white
session you did.
block. It turns out that she's talking about the blocks that you can grab, the ones that start
The
flashing.
what?
once
You mean the ones
do,
we were
and
doing
just
earlier?
Looking at them, they don't seem to be white. They look like they're light blue with white highlights.
Yeah,
and
I could
it's
see
especially
white.
hard to appreciate that once
This is
they
a bit of
start
a
flashing
stretch.
different colors. Not to mention, why are
Maybe
we just
most of
learning
them wear
about
that
this
color, so
now?
eh.
I've already learned about this through just playing the game. This isn't new information. It would
Well,
have
if you
been
didn't know
if we
by
were taught
now.
about this during the last letter, since the white blocks are introduced in World 3.
Okay, fair enough
Also,
then.
this is the first time I kind of agree with the protection jewel thing. The item we just received is a music box that puts enemies on the world maps to sleep so you don't have to fight them. The
Which is useful
problem
when
is,
there's a
you
Hammer
have
Brother
text on
item
screen that you
ahead.
could use to describe that,
Or
and
fight.
you don't. So I had
These are
no
like little
idea
boss
what the
fight
hell this
stages in
thing
this
did.
game.
I used it a couple times
used boss
after I'd
fight
already cleared
loosely,
the enemies,
but
not thinking there
it's
was
still a
any
thing.
relation between the two, and all that happened was that the music changed, so I didn't think these did anything. Oh, it's just a regular level, but some of the things are big now.
It caught
Cool, I
the
guess.
series by
If you
storm.
thought, for whatever reason, that the Hammer Brothers were too easy to get past, may I introduce you to the Sledge Brothers? Not only are they massive compared to a regular Hammer Brother, not only do they jump just
Oh,
as high,
jeez.
not only are their hammers bigger, but they also cause a quake
And they
that
cause an
stuns you
earthquake to
momentarily,
boot
making it
because
easier
they're
for you to get
big
hit by
and
their
you
hammers.
can't
Isn't
move.
That just so much fun? Behold,
Hammer Brothers on
the raccoon
steroids.
suit, except it now covers more of your body.
Yeah.
Okay, but seriously, upon first glance, why would anybody
It's a
think that the
Tanuki.
Tanuki suit is any different from the raccoon suit? Literally no other power-up
Okay,
gives you
it's
an
a raccoon, I
additional
was wrong,
ability
fair
that's
enough.
used with a
It's the
different
same
combination
thing,
of
but it
button
looks like-
presses. So how would you find out about the statue transformation if not by
Yeah,
complete
you probably did it by
accident?
accident.
Also, fun fact, but the statue transformation is based on Japanese Jizo statues depicting Shirigarpa, a figure in Buddhism that is responsible for
Mario's
guiding
a
all souls
Buddhist?
into an afterlife where they are later to be reborn. So, how exactly does that lore fit into how I can absolutely decimate enemies by falling onto them? Even enemies you regularly wouldn't be able
Because
to jump
Gandhi
on.
will show
Gee, the
them her
Godbot
peaceful
guided already
ways
deceased
by
souls. He wasn't
force.
responsible for their deaths. So, what exactly do the magic wands do, and why exactly does each king have one? So far, I can assume that they can produce energy and transform people into
They're
anything
there
the
for a
user
boss fight,
wants,
so they increase
right?
the Koopalings.
I mean, this guy was a literal dinosaur before I got here. Each of the Koopalings
Not
are
even a
responsible
Yoshi,
for
a
stealing the magic
dinosaur.
wands and transforming the kings, but why didn't the kings use the
that
wands
was
to turn
just
the
Mario,
Koopalings
clearly.
into bugs or something?
Then
Are you
they
telling me that
pixelation.
each one of them got ambushed and they weren't able to use their wands in time?
Greetings! The thief who stole the whistle has escaped to the east side of the sand dune.
Hey, hold up. There's a thief?
Yeah, right.
What whistle?
Was Nabbit
You
introduced
couldn't
here?
use this time to explain the fact that there are warp whistles in the first place?
Nope.
Also, it's a little fucking late to tell me this, princess. I'm about to enter World 5, and the warp
World
whistle
5
you're
of
describing is
8.
back in the
7
second
if we
world,
wanna
which
count
I
main
can't
story
go
alone.
back to. Not to mention, that's the very last warp whistle I could have gotten, so this information
This
is literally
information is
useless
useless.
to me. In her letters to me, could the princess not have explained that
This
the
is
only way to use
useless.
Goomba
It's
shoes
less
to
than
attack it
useless.
from below and not to jump on it like you do with most enemies? Because that information would have been great to know. Oh, what? I have to play the entirety of World 5-Tower again? I
Oh,
didn't know that
screw
would happen.
you.
I just
Make
went back
me.
to check if there were any secrets I missed. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I hated World 5-9. The
Yeah,
first
it's a
half
pain
of it
in
is
the
fine,
ass.
but as soon as the fire chomp shows up, because of the auto-scrolling,
Yeah,
the
auto
moving
scroll level,
platforms,
and you
it
can't see the
constantly
ground,
moving while
and you gotta
spitting
move
its fire,
constantly,
it's
and there's
way
fire shooting
trickier
down
to
at you.
land a
Screw
jump on
you.
it than it looks.
Greetings! Be careful in the ice world. The creatures trapped in the ice will come to life if warmed.
It's nice how Toadstool's
This
mouth
is the
moves, though.
first
That's a
time
little
that
bit
we've
better. I see
received a
the
letter from the princess
blinking.
that's actually relevant to the next world and actually well worded.
I'm scared.
Okay, I have to admit that I really like the gimmick for World 6-5, but considering that, to the best of my memory, this is the first time that the Super Leaf is required to beat a level. Not to mention
Otherwise,
that
you're
this is
just
definitely
skipping
the
the
only
game,
time
more or
you're
less.
required to carry something while flying up to another area. It's pretty disheartening that any mistake means having to leave
Damn
the
it.
area to get another Super Leaf and coming back to an area where the enemies have all respawned, meaning that you have to start the process all over again.
Lucky
and
you.
making a mistake like running into an enemy that you didn't know would respawn is pretty friggin' easy.
Yep.
You know, it's fucking ridiculous that
I
the
thought we
boos are
had
so
a hard
shy
way to
about
look at
me
it.
just looking at them. What, they have anxiety over me watching them murder me? Without a Starman, I literally cannot hurt them. They have nothing to be afraid, anxious,
I know there's
or
a great
shy about.
a shirt of Boo where it's like the front part is the Boo looking
I don't know, I don't think
afraid,
this one's so
and
bad.
then
The king
and then the
bounces
back
on his
side
nose
is being
now. I bet I
like
couldn't do
all
that
happy
before.
and excited,
See?
you know?
Now he just looks like the Pringles guy.
It's cute.
Greetings! I am well. Please retrieve the magic whistle hidden in the darkness at the end of the third world.
And now you're back to saying stupid shit. Okay,
back to
first
business
off,
as
again,
usual.
I
Okay, I
can't
feel
go
safe
back
again.
To a previous world. Even if I had a warp whistle right now, I'm about to
Oh,
enter
you guys
World
just stripped
7.
the Zelda
only
music,
world I can
too.
warp to is World 8. Also,
Well-
this is a wild misstatement. The warp whistle she's referring to isn't in the third world. There is no warp whistle in
Then
World
why'd you
3.
tell me that?
What she meant to say is the third level. The earliest warp whistle you can get is at the end of World 1-3, which I'm really glad you brought up, because how in the mama of Mia are you supposed to know you can do this?
What?
Why didn't Toadstool give us the hint that this was possible? You're not as well as you think you are. Is it just me, or is it kind of silly how you can't just get a frog suit in the regular underwater level?
You think that'd be just a rate of
this is
power?
where
No,
they'd
it's got to be good
most
at
useful,
equip
but
yourself,
you can only
basically.
find them in Toad houses, and even
Yeah, and you
then,
can use
only
the
if you're
items
lucky.
before you go into the level, and then you will
I
enter
just
the level
realized,
with those
aren't those
power-ups
little
on.
bomb fellas from Doki
What
Doki
being a
Mario
frog
Panic?
ship,
I thought
clearly.
that was a dream world. What are they doing here?
Oh,
I
because
know I
it was
talked
a
about the
dream based on a
P-Wing
true
earlier
story.
and how it turns you into Raccoon
hell?
Mario, giving you unlimited P-speed for a whole level unless you get hit. But why exactly does the P-Wing turn us into Raccoon Mario? I thought the Super Leaf did that. This might be the only instance of two very different looking items turning you into the exact same thing.
Sorry,
Oh,
desperately
look,
looking
the
for a
Doki Doki
power-up or
Icarus
something.
mechanic again. This mechanic in World 7-8 sucks, because unless you have a Fire Flower, the best way to time the Piranha Plants is to despawn them by hiding their sprite off screen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just have to wait and wait and wait for them
That ain't
to desync
happening.
enough
Yeah,
for you
fuck
to be
that.
able to clear the jump.
I think to get that one, I just like took the hit and
The
then ran in with
visceral
invincibility
reaction from the
frames.
Lost Levels is back. Oh, hey, look, it's the backwards pipe jump from World 8-4. That must be why.
Lucky
Oh,
us.
it's terrible! The king has been transformed!
Are you sure? Because this world seems to mostly be inhabited by piranha plants. It would stand to reason that
Yeah,
their
why,
king would
why
be
not a
one.
king piranha
Then again,
plant?
Princess Toadstool isn't a mushroom person, so you might be onto something.
Maybe, maybe. Ow.
Well,
What?
that was fucking fucking unfair. First of all, I didn't know you could
Invincibility,
immobilize me like
no.
the Sledge Brothers do. And second, once I found that out, your stomps were perfectly timed, so I couldn't
Oh,
move
so
at all.
he couldn't move.
Yo,
He was fucked. He
I
got
kidnapped the
stuck in that
princess
scenario.
while you were running around.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd be bad too.
Was she not already kidnapped? I guess that makes her being able to send all those
Wait,
letters.
I
make
kidnapped
no
the princess
sense.
when you were running around. I thought.
It kind
What?
of doesn't, because she knew where I'd be all those times, and most of her letters made no sense.
Did you kidnap
At
her
first,
again?
I thought maybe it was because she might have been under pressure, or however she sent the letters got mixed and sent to the wrong world, but now I don't think that's true. You know, of all the silly things in this game, I don't know why being able to defeat a fireball with a hammer is just one of the things I find the silliest. Like, think about it.
Look,
I
yeah, it's a
tossed
fireball. I
hammer
threw a
at
hammer
jumping
at it
fireball,
instead.
and it died. So, wait, does
right.
the sun not emit light? Because it's still very dark around here.
Yeah, that would be
I
a
mean,
little
the
bit too
sky
much
is
ever
pitch
for the
black.
NES.
Oh,
wait.
meant to do that?
Why didn't you play the
You know what's
Michael
so
Jackson
interesting to me is that
music?
Princess Toadstool, since her inception, has had blonde hair, but so far none of the games depict her
Smooth
with
criminal.
it. I'm guessing it's a sprite color palette limitation, but you made her crown the same color as her skin. You couldn't do the same thing with her hair?
Yeah, right?
you.
That's a good question.
But
Maybe
our
they didn't
princess
want
is
you
in
to
another
think that,
castle.
like, it was a
Just
different part. They were all the same part, like her head was part
Bye-bye.
hair and part
Ah.
crown.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
There
at least
are
she's
fire
getting on the
brothers in
joke.
this game?
Even
I
by the
really
third game,
never
we were sick of this
encountered one.
plot.
Is this the thief the princess was talking about? Oh, dude, pray to
Turns
that
out,
sacrifice
yes.
all you want, he's still gonna fuck you up. Before we get into the manual, I just want to address the elephant in the room. With the curtain falling and certain assets looking like they're hanging in front of a backdrop.
Yeah, the
and
idea is it's all a
literally
giant
exit stage
play.
right at the end of every level. This looks like a
Sort of
play or
like
a
how
stage
Paper
production,
Mario,
right?
Thousand Year
Well,
Door is
the creator
too.
of Super Mario and director for this game, Shigeru Miyamoto himself, basically confirmed this to be the
This is
case.
all one
right
giant
before Super
play.
Mario
You're
Maker
playing a
released. And I
play.
just have to ask, aside from the first game, does Mario actually do anything? The Lost Levels was an alternate universe, the second game was all a dream, and this one is a performance. Which, a performance for who?
Bowser.
Seemingly got a
The
bunch
Mushroom
of people
Kingdom,
involved in the
probably.
production of the stage play, even the people who
I remember they got
terrorized the Mushroom
Bowser to play
Kingdom, but
Bowser. I thought his
is there
bill
an
would be too
audience for
high,
this?
or he wouldn't want
They
to
can't
show
be
up.
the
But
player.
yet
They
again,
would technically
he
serve
shows
the
up for
role of
go-karting,
director, if
so why
anything.
not?
Ha ha ha! These are my 7 children that are going to help me take over the mushroom world.
Whoa,
an
whoa,
adorable
hold on.
picture of
Mushroom
Bowser.
World? How is
Good
that
quick.
different from the Mushroom Kingdom? There's a Mushroom
The
Kingdom
Kingdom of
in the
Equestria.
Mushroom
You mean the
World?
planet, right?
What sense
No.
does that make? This is the Human Kingdom, part of Human World. Yeah, I would assume so. The Mushroom Kingdom forms an entrance to the Mushroom World where all is not well.
It's okay, so the
Oh,
kingdom's the way to the world, but this is the
What?
world then.
The Mushroom Kingdom is just the entrance to the
Now I'm more
Like,
confused.
I guess you're not saying Mushroom Planet, but I don't know how else I'm supposed to interpret a land that's comprised of various kingdoms. You even say that they're all from different countries. Why do you need to label the
Still
buttons on
confused.
your controller graphic when the buttons on the physical controller are already labeled?
You're-
That is not
You're
how you
set
spell
up.
raccoon.
It's set up
You
to
spelled
succeed.
it wrong again! You misspell the word raccoon every time it's mentioned in this manual! Wait, so...
English isn't their first
the
language, but it
castles
should
are
be the
fortresses,
translators.
And the fortresses are
And you
mini
can't even talk to
fortresses?
like a computer because it was like around the
Wouldn't it
freaking
just be easier
80s
to
or
call
something.
them
I mean, I
castles
think
and
computers
fortresses?
existed, but they were
Doesn't
very
a king
prehistoric and
live in
early
a
on.
castle? The mini fortresses
talking
are guarded by
dial-up,
Boom Boom,
people.
a tough servant of Bowser. When you defeat him, you get a magic ball, and the mini fortress tumbles to the ground, and the locked door gets unlocked. I
Yay.
don't have a master's in writing or anything, but what an awkward way to write these sentences. Why didn't you just make it a list? When you defeat him, comma, you get a magic ball, comma, the mini fortress tumbles to the ground,
Because that doesn't
comma,
fill the
and
word
locked door
quota
gets
on
unlocked.
this essay, I
Alternatively,
shall.
You could have used an adverb. Also, the locked door gets unlocked. I understand that you're now doing this in the context of what their effects are on the world map, but you've already described what some of these power-ups do.
And now I'm
Why are
explaining it
you
again.
describing
Get
them?
ready.
So you might be wondering, who the f is Jugem, and why is this his cloud? And I would normally ask the same thing.
It's
if
not
it
the
wasn't for the
Lakitu?
fact that I already know the answer to that by having researched previous
Well,
games.
yeah, obviously
Jugem
you
is
know
the
this.
Japanese name for Lakitu, and I don't know how the person translating this did not know that.
Sometimes
Something
those
that did confuse
translation
the hell
things
out of
slip
me
through
was
the
the
cracks.
anchor
We just
item.
let the
Much
name
like the
stay
Fire
the
Brothers,
same.
I never came across this in my
Like in
playthrough,
Dragon
and it's
Ball,
because it's hidden behind a
Hakai stay
mechanic that is
Hakai in
never
both English and
explained anywhere.
Japanese.
If you collect
Because
a
even the
specific
Americans
number
admit,
of coins in
Hakai
very
sounds
specific
badass.
levels in each world, you can
Just
get a white
destroy-
toad house to spawn.
Kinda
How are
lame.
you supposed to know which levels have this mechanic and how many coins you need to collect in it? beats the fuck out of me, but the kicker is this. You can only get the anchor item in every even-numbered world, 2, 4, and 6, while the odd-numbered worlds get you a P-Wing. If you choose continue, the game starts again from the beginning of the world that you were in. You get to keep all of your
At least
items.
we're explaining this.
All clear panels go back to being action scene panel. If you have destroyed the mini fortress, it will stay destroyed. Well, that's very nice of you, game, but it feels kind of inconsistent. Why would I need to play through all the levels again, but not the fortresses? I'm not saying I want to.
Good
I just
question.
don't get why we
I
need
guess
to
they
prove
wanted to
our
make sure
worth
that you
by
could
playing
keep
through the regular
play
stages,
again?
but not the
I don't know.
harder ones. If we beat the fortress, I
Because
think
after all,
it
we
stands
talked
to
about how
reason
you
that we
can't
beat the
replay any
stages
stages
before it,
except
too.
the fortresses,
That thing's
so
called
this is a way
what it
to
is.
play them, but not the
You're telling me
fortresses.
that thing's name isn't Disco Waffle, the thing we somehow all collectively decided to call it as kids?
We're still calling it Disco Waffle. That isn't changing.
That's this thing's name? Wait, no, but you're meaning to imply that Boo is his nickname, and that Diddley is his actual name.
So it's-
I don't like, especially given
There is
recent
some-
events, I don't like that name.
Oh, it's a
Also
reference
not
to
how
a
you spell
musician. Yes,
piranha.
did
Did the person
Lee. That
translating
L
this
was
not
doing a
know
lot of
animals?
heavy
We've
lifting,
been getting
but it
this
is
wrong since
carrying the
Mario
entire
1.
name.
Sledge Brothers. The Sledge Brothers shake the earth when they jump. They also throw hammer. Well, not when they jump. It's not when they jump, it's when they land.
Yeah, it's specifically. There's a big difference between jumping and landing. Overall, yeah, Mario 3 is still a good game. Projection jewel prop for play.
Hey everyone, Char
Okay.
I5 here.
Yeah, it is
Thank
still
you so
a
much
good
for watching
game
my
that's fun to
CinemaSins
play.
pastiche
Just
of
feel like,
everything
just
wrong
like
with
you
Super
hear it's such a
Mario
great game
Brothers
all the time,
3.
you start being like,
Now,
is it
I
though?
have a bit
it
of
is.
a confession
It's just,
to make.
Oi,
Much like
a
Sonic
lot.
3,
You know, hearing it so much
Mario
a lot.
3 was my least favorite growing up. I didn't like it. I thought it was overhyped. I don't know.
That might be a
I
part of it
thought
too.
I
You
think
hear
it was
something's
because I
great
thought it
so
was
much
too
and you're like,
difficult,
it can't be
and that's
that
why I
great,
didn't
and then you
like
see
it. I
it
never
play
made
for
it
yourself.
past
It's like,
like
actually, it is
was a
pretty damn
kid.
good.
And I honestly, I didn't even beat it for the first time until I was an adult.
Like
and I beat it with a
frickin',
friend because we were playing co-op. That was
Hamilton,
the
the
first time I
play,
ever beat
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
But having
I
now
hate it
fully
because
played
it's
the
talked
game
about all the time.
on my
And I'm
own,
sure when I
having played
eventually see it, it's
to
gonna
its
be
completion
great.
on my own.
Heck, if I didn't see
I
Puss in Boots in
definitely
theaters,
see
the second
what
one
all the
obviously.
hype was about. I definitely
I probably
understand
wouldn't be the
what it
one
was people
saying
saw
it's
in
so
this
good.
game
I might have
back then,
been
because
a
I
freaking
completely
hater or something.
I
I don't know.
completely agree that it is a fantastic game, especially for the time.
It is a really
but
good game,
I would
yeah.
love to know what you guys think.
You just
What
hear
did-
something
did
is
you
so
guys
great
play
all the
this growing
time,
up?
essentially
What were
eventually
your opinions
start,
of it growing
being
up?
a
What are your
contrarian,
opinions of
even
it
if you have
now,
no
especially
opinion.
compared to the
Yeah.
other games in the series at this point in
I
time?
think
I would
everyone
love
says this
to
is
hear
good. You
your
want to be the
thoughts.
one guy being like, no, it
on
sucks
screen, you're seeing the
actually,
names
and
of
you
wonderful
suck.
patrons and channel members who decide to contribute monthly.
But
to
anyway,
this
yeah,
channel.
that's the end of
And
the
if you would
Mario
like to see your
series, and we
name
ended on
alongside
a banger,
theirs,
to be
you can do
fair.
so by
Mario
hitting
3
the
is
link
still
in the
a great game
description
and fun to
or
play.
hitting the join button underneath.
Don't
this
worry about
video.
that story.
Every little bit
The
helps,
developers
but if you
didn't, so
don't
why
want to,
should
or if
we?
you can't,
And
you can
yeah,
also like,
it was a fun little
comment,
series.
subscribe,
Mostly going through
share with a
RPGs
friend
more
who
like,
think
because I
might
thought we
find this
would
video
do more
funny or
platformers
interesting.
and then get into the
Every
RPGs.
little
but
free bit helps as
no,
well.
we did the
So,
platformers,
until next time, guys.
then the
thank you so much
RPGs,
for
and then
watching.
back to the
Stay safe,
platformers.
stay awesome. This is Char I5.
It's just a different way of doing
Signing.
things. It's not bad in of itself. It's just, it's just kind of weird. Not how I expected it to be. But anyway, yeah. Mario franchise is still a fun one to play. I started this off with railing at Nintendo, but the games are fun and it's not really worth the hate at the end of the day. Nintendo does a lot of weird stuff and a lot of things we don't agree with, but hey, that's companies for you. You don't have to like it, but you have to learn to live with it. Just when there's a Mario Switch 2 game, then I'm going to unleash. But we're not at that point. There is no Mario Switch 2 game at the moment, so I'm not counting it. Well, okay, there's Mario Kart, but I'm not counting that at the moment because there's no thing of it, because Mario Kart doesn't have a story mode, so why would we cover it? I mean, I guess Charlie could do a thing about it, but just like, he technically does one with stories, and this doesn't have a story. So, yeah. Even if it's a minuscule story, like your princess is in another castle, that is still technically a story. I don't know. Racing games are in that weird area where just like, you don't have to have a story. You can, if you do, that's awesome, but you don't have to have one. Same with fighting games, like, I don't know, I was going to say Mortal Kombat, but that's a terrible example. They usually have a story mode. You know what I'm trying to say. The Mario franchise, it's not exactly the most in-depth storytelling, but they have good games, it's fun to play, and it's fun. And that's what's most important. The story, they don't care. Why should we? At least we can still make the jokes. Be like, let me guess the plot. Bowser kidnaps Peach. The 3 words, and that's all you need. Yeah. But again, that's the end of the Mario Marathon. And next week, we'll get to check out his blue rival. And I hope to see all of you next time. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you all later. Bye.